So James going to talk about this book. So what do you think?
Oh yeah, democracy may not exist, but we'll miss it when, presumably, it's gone. So, yeah, the kiss of death for me is there's a blurb on the back and the front and the back by Naomi Klein. So she's one of these fake left-wingers that's out there, spreading the social gospel, as it were. Yeah, this is full of, like Iroquois democracy. At least she kind of admits that the American system wasn't based on a democratic system, wasn't based on Iroquois democracy. They might have had something like democracy, but it looks as though it was only the women voting. Did you know that? Vote for.
Wasn't it the older women?
Well, they according to her, it's like the older women were a couple of elderly women were picked by women voters, and then the older women would pick something like a chief or something like that. I don't know if it's a military.
But it was a guy.
Yeah, it was a guy. So, and any level of appointment that where you got like election and then appointment is democracy is attenuated that way. You see what I'm saying? Like I believe in direct democratic votes, not electing people who make appointments.
Yeah.
See the
That's more like the Catholic Church system.
A little bit, although they don't even bother with elections down to the lowest level. But that's appointment is a problem. So it looks as though the many American leaders, or some, Franklin, maybe Jefferson, they were enthused about the kind of like the confederation of the five originally, and then 6 Iroquois tribes, and they were saying, things like we've got to hang together or we'll hang separately. So they were saying us 13 colonies got to hang together like the Iroquois did. But to a large extent, from what I can tell, I'll have to check it up. So this is just a guess as much as anything. They were basically saying, look at these savages, that would be their kind of terminology. They managed to hang together. We should be able to do it. So, she's saying things like they were, like they were peaceful. They weren't, the native groups weren't about expanding, stuff like that. She actually quotes a Dene person as saying, we weren't about expanding. What's wrong with that? Well, the Dene are part of the Na-Dene. It's not just a linguistics group. And how far did the Dene go? Well, the Na-Dene, they went all the way down to Arizona and New Mexico. Now, there are people in Arizona and New Mexico called the Hopi. We have stories about the Dene, Na-Dene people moving in on them. Oh, and it doesn't seem to have been that peaceful. So, when she's quoting this Dene person saying, we're not about territorial expansion and stuff like that. Yeah, that's just intellectual dishonesty on the part of that person saying that, and intellectual dishonesty on the part of this woman not doing her homework. And, let's look at the Iroquois. Well, you'll see the Iroquois, they had agriculture and stuff like that. The people to the north of them, people to the south of them, or the northeast, northwest, and to the southeast didn't really have much agriculture. And then you look at what happens. The people to the northwest of them, the southeast of them, they're all Algonquian people. So you'll see that the Iroquois kind of we'll say settled, not spread, all along the St. Lawrence. And then along the Great Lakes. And it looks as though they maybe came up the Ohio River Valley. You see, they made a huge incursion into what would have been contiguous Algonquian territory. They were conquerors. So here she's talking about them having this peaceful federal system. She hasn't done her homework. When left-wingers don't do their homework, they're as bad as right-wingers in terms of ignorance. Ignorance, fake left-winger. So Don't bother with a book. Or read it. Have a laugh. Or don't have a laugh.